What's going on, guys? Drawing Chaos here with another Satisfactory video. Hooray! Wait a minute, is that Snuts login? No, never mind. My mistake. Anyway, guys, I have a very unique video for you today, for we are going over the top 10 satisfactory challenges you can do after beating the game. Yes, we've all done that where we've beaten the game, especially with it being early access where there's not much story and everything like that, and we kind of want to add a little spice up to our next build through, and some of us don't want to put in mods, which is completely understandable. So I've come up with a list of 10 wonderful challenges from easiest to hardest that you can do, and you can pick your basically whatever your building level is or whatever challenge you want to put in there, just to add a little spice to it. Just as a side note, I did not come up with every single one of these challenges myself. These are challenges I've seen around, plus some ones that I have made up myself, but just give you an idea of some of the cool stuff you can do now that you finish the game, you got your wonderful bases, and you want to start from scratch and see what you can do, the second time around. So if you like the video, don't forget to give it a like, a comment, and consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber. That's always fun. But anyway, let's get on with the video and have some fun. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off with an easy challenge, a greens challenge, the Green Peas Challenge. Now, this is a fun one because it's mostly considered like a role-playing kind of challenge where you've come to this nice little massage A-B and everything like that, and you don't want to really destroy anything. You want to keep everything as intact as possible. So what you're going to do is, you're not going to destroy any trees, any flowers, any plants, any local wildlife, even if they try and kill you. The idea is just to come here, build your factories and stuff like that, and get on with your day. Now, this can be difficult when trying to fight spiders or giant, things and all that kind of stuff. You got to be smart to get around that. But it's really difficult at the beginning when you're trying not to use any leaves and stuff like that for biomass, because you can't use the biomass burners. Now, once you get to coal is kind of like a kind of thing in this one, because you're gonna need coal eventually. So, you're going to have to do all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, you're going to be as eco-friendly as possible. And then once you get to oil, obviously, you're going to be able to use, the fuel generators and stuff like that. It's a really cool one to start yourself off, try and see if you can do it, especially because once you get to coal, it's kind of like the simple rest of the game that you've been used to. So not bad, and a fun one to do. So let me know how you feel about this one, and let's go to the next. Alright, challenge number 2 is considered the No Hard Drive Challenge. Now, this is an interesting one because it's very simple and very easy. Even most of you might not even had hard drives at the beginning, but it's still considered a challenge once you know that they are there, because there are something like, turning iron ingots into screws that are beneficial so much into the later game, hell, even in the early game for some of the stuff. So, to know that they're there but you can't use them is quite considered a challenge. It's kind of hard, but at the same time, it's super easy. Especially when you get into the late game and realize that you can't have any of the alternate stuff for like turbo fuel or compact coal and stuff like that. So it tends to get a bit kind of but it is a fun challenge to start yourself off and be like, okay, I want to do the no hard drive challenge. I don't want to get any hard drives. I'm going to try it. And that means staying away from drop pods as well. That means don't grab any of the extra material that you see around drop pods. Just stay away from the drop pods altogether. This is a little bit of a challenge, but it's still fun nonetheless. So this next challenge is a bit of a doozy, but it's called the No Handcrafting Challenge. Now, there's one of two ways to start this. The first way is to start a new game, hit skip intro, and you'll be at tier 1 with some items in your inventory, including some portable miners and whatnot. All that good stuff. And the lore behind this is you got sent to your second planet, You've already done all the stuff, and you're just basically ready to go. The second way of doing it is you have to go around and you have to basically pick up a whole bunch of items at the drop pod locations so you have enough items to start yourself off to do tier 0 and whatnot. Now, the lore behind this one for the no handcrafting challenge is you're not allowed to build anything with your hands, except for there is a few exceptions. Some of the stuff in the equipment slot that you're going to need, you know, like the Xeno Basher and the portable miner, there's no way around it. You can't automatically build those in machines. So this is a good challenge, but yes, there are a few things that you have to handcraft anyway. And that's just going to be portable miners and, you know, all the Xeno Zappers and all that little stuff here and there. So it's up to you on what you decide is able to be handcrafted, but nothing in the regular thing that can be made in machines gets to be handcrafted whatsoever. So no beacons, no stuff like that. So you won't be able to have a beacon for a very long time, at least until you get manufacturers, and who knows how long that'll be. So this is a good challenge and a good use of your mind and how you can work around some of these problems that you'll be tasked with once doing all this stuff. Next up is a wonderful one. It's the 5x5 challenge. What is this, Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Who got this reference? Anybody? Let me know in the comments section if you got that reference, who said it, and why did they say it. But anyway, the 5x5 challenge is a wonderful fan favorite. A lot of people have done it. It is a wonderful challenge where you basically take foundations and you put 5 in a row and then 5 down from that. So you have 25 total in a nice little square. And the idea behind it is you have to build everything in a 5x5 box just going straight up. And it's an interesting challenge. It is a very difficult challenge at sometimes, especially when you get to pipes, because you're going to have to plan out, you know, going up with those pipes. So you're going to have pumps and all that kind of stuff. And you're not going to be able to fit a lot of power in there. Now, there are been some arbitrations to this, like some people do a 6x6 or a 6.9 by 6.9, which is really just a 7x7. I get it with the walls and everything you're taking away. See what you did there. But anyway, it's a fun little challenge that a lot of people have done, so feel free to jump on the bandwagon and try it out yourself. It does add a little bit of difficulty, and it is kind of fun to do, so, you know, see what you do. If you have done it, let me know in the comments section if you've done it before, how you felt about it, and let other people know how you've done, and, you know, what they can expect, all that good stuff. But anyway... Next up, in the middle of the pack, is the No Foundation Challenge. Now, some of you are like, I did the No Foundation Challenge in my first playthrough. It was a breeze. And you might be right, because we've all gone a long time without using foundations, but the challenge in this one is not in the beginning game when everything's nice and easy, when you're trying to build, you know, one thing here or one thing there. The challenge really comes into when you're building like refineries and manufacturers, where you're trying to build multiple items because you have no room to work whatsoever. Like even a small setup is taking way more space than it should intend. And of course, you want to add a little more difficulty to this. You try to add no clipping to your No Foundation challenge, and oh boy, you're going to have a good time, but it's going to be a pain in the butt. Now, this is pretty hard and it's pretty fun, but, you know, it does kind of get a little messy. So if you're a little OCD like myself, this might not be the challenge for you. But overall, it is a lot of good time, you know. You're going to be learning a lot of new mechanics and how to get around stuff. So it does add a lot of challenging experiences to the game, which is great because that's what this is all meant to do. But onward to the next one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally getting into the challenges that really test the limits of your sanity. And the first one is not the hardest one and can be done in conjunction with some of the other ones you have, but this is called the No Death Hard Drive Hunt Challenge. So the idea behind this is you are to get every single hard drive in one shot. That means you have to basically go across the entire map in one shot, getting off every single hard drive without going back. That means you have to plan out the biomass burners that you're going to have to bring with you for power. You're going to have to see every single thing that you need and where it is in the entire map before you go out. Now, this is a challenge. And the worst of all of it is you cannot die. If you die, you have to restart and try it again, which, let's face it, that's going to be a bad time. But anyway, there's a few things that you can use, you're allowed to use on this challenge to make it just a tiny bit easier. You can use the Satisfactory calculator on the website, Satisfactory Calculator, for their interactive map to see where the hard drives are that you're going to need. Now, the whole thing behind this challenge is to not get any hard drives before you start this challenge. So you should have all of them closed and all of them locked and whatsoever, and you can basically just go from one to the other. The second thing is on Satisfactory Calculator, it does tell you what each and every single one needs in terms of power or material. So you can plan accordingly. Now, granted, there are some red ones that you can't get no matter what, which we're not talking about those. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get those. But other than that, you should be able to get every single hard drive without dying in one fell swoop. Now, this is going to be a difficult challenge, mind you, because let's face it, there are a lot of spiders, there are a lot of things out there that want to kill you. So you're going to have to be cunning, you're going to have to be smart, and you're going to have to be practical about it. Because let's face it, if you try and go in there all willy-nilly like, you're going to die. And then you're going to have to start from scratch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to the next challenge that will really, really, really test the challenge of your patience, because this one right here, the Mark 1 only challenge, oh, this keeps you pretty much grounded for the entire thing. Now, this is not a technical difficult one in terms of how it is to build. Actually, it'll be a lot easier to build some of this Mark 1 stuff. The biggest problem that you're going to have is you're going to be building Mark 1 miners and using only Mark 1 belts for the entirety of your playthrough, all the way up to tier 7 and 8. And that's when it comes into being a problem, because you're trying to develop things that are going to need loads and loads of material, and you're going to be only to be able to use 60 at a time. Thus is the biggest issue. Now, it's not difficult, you can do it, but it's going to be one of those things where you're going to be spreading out your entire base all across the map just so you have enough ingredients, enough things that you can actually build at some decent rates. But the nice thing about this is if you plan out accordingly, it won't be as difficult as you may think. But it's pretty much up there in terms of difficulty, especially for the late game and trying to build stuff like that. Especially when it comes to power, when you're trying to build a coal plant and you can only use 60 coal at a time. That's going to be a bit difficult one. But other than that, I have faith in you guys. Let me know what you think on this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now increasing the difficulty once again, and these are the top 3 most difficult challenges in Satisfactory right here, okay? These are the top 3. These are the big dogs. These are the ones that if you complete, you are a god at Satisfactory, all right? And into number 8 in our list, but number 3 in the top difficult ones, this is the handcrafting only challenge. Ooh, even the sound of it, cringeworthy, I know. But the idea behind this one is you can only handcraft anything that can be handcrafted. If it can be handcrafted, you have to handcraft it. Now that means you can use miners to pull stuff out of the ground and put them into bins. That's no problem. You can basically use machinery to make any of the pieces that you need for the space elevator. You just cannot make machinery to make the items to make the pieces for that. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say you need wire for, building one of those things in the space elevator. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was like the compact wire. You need steel for the versatile framework or something like that. You have to make the steel. You have to make the beams and stuff yourself. But then you can put those beams in the machine to basically make the versatile framework, all right? And vice versa, all that kind of stuff going forward. There are a couple other things that you can't handcraft, like plastic and rubber and stuff like that, which is kind of annoying, but at least you'll be able to not have to worry about some of the oil memes going forward on stuff like that. But this is a very difficult one, especially once you get all the way up to tiers like 7 and 8, where they require like, computers and stuff like that, and you're building like 20 different items just to make 1 or 2 computers, It's kind of a pain in the butt, but overall, it's fun and it is challenging. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to one of the worst, most difficult challenges that's in there that I could come up with. Is called the biomass burn hell. I like saying that. So I came up with the idea of this one with help from friends, where you only can use biomass burners for the entire game until you get to nuclear power. Yes, you heard me correct. Biomass burners only. Those stupid things that only give you like, what, 20 megawatts of power or 30 or whatever? I don't know. But that is all you get for the entirety of your playthrough until you get to nuclear. So that means none of that coal, burning coal generators, no compact coal, no fuel, no turbo fuel, none of that. You basically are stuck with biomass burners. Now, the sheer difficulty is not the amount of power that they produce, but it's the amount of time that you're going to have to go in and put actual biofuel into the thing, because they have to be hand done each and every time. Now, this can be difficult over time, especially when doing huge factories where you need like 10,000 megawatts of power and all that kind of stuff, and you're basically feeling, God, I mean, where's my calculator just to calculate how much stuff that would be and how many of those things you'd have running? Whew, you're going to have a bad time. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Maybe I would. Fuck them. But anyway, this is going to be a very difficult one. And if you can do it, you are a legend. A fucking legend at this. But that's still not the worst one that you can do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the top one. Number 10, top tier, the hardest challenge that I could come up with. This one I feel like is all me, and I don't know anybody else that's had this challenge out there. This is called the One and Done Challenge, all right? Now, to perfectly explain this, it's kind of a bit convoluted when you think about it, but it's the one challenge that I could come up with where it's not inherently cruel, and it's actually meant to challenge your skill. So the idea behind this is, in the beginning of the game, when you're starting to build stuff and you build all those temporary factories, you're not allowed to do that. What you can do is, like, let's say you want to build your smelter setup for the amount of smelters for iron ingots that you're going to need for the entire game. You have to plan that and build it. Once you're done building that set of work, that's it. That's it. You can't go back to it. It's stuck like that. The only thing you can do is go back to upgrade belts, and that's it. Once everything is built, it's done. It's game over. That's it. That's your whole set. So, like, let's say you build only, 6 setups for concrete for the entire game. That's 6 concrete for the entire game. That is it. There's nothing more after that. You are done, son. So that is why this is such a hard challenge, because not only do you have to play the game, first of all, and know pretty much everything that you're going to have to do, you're going to also have to plan out every single thing going forward. Where you're going to build your base, where you're going to build your machinery, where you're going to build this, how you're going to have it set up. I personally had designed everything on my, my Satisfactory spreadsheet that I made, where I had everything planned out for update number 3, what I wanted and all that good stuff, before I even went to be building a mega base and stuff like that. But in this one, you can't even get everything unlocked before you do it. You literally have to build right at the beginning going forward. And that's what makes this such a challenge, all right? Because you're gonna need to plan out everything to the extreme. Now, if you want to take a look at that spreadsheet, I have it up on the screen right here. If you want a copy of it, I do have it over my Discord as a free download. It's under the Satisfactory free download part of it. Just look at the pins for all the different free downloads that I pinned it there. And, you can take a look at it, alter it how you'd like and all that kind of stuff. But make sure you double check your math before you do it, because sometimes, they like to change things, change some recipes. And it gets a little annoying, but, it's cool nonetheless. And that's over in my Discord. Feel free to join my Discord. It's always fun. We always help people out there. If you have any questions, I'm always good to answer everything over there. But that is 10 of the hardest challenges, actually 10 of the most popular challenges, our coolest challenges. I don't know. 10 challenges for Satisfactory after you have beaten the game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to the bonus challenge. Bonus challenge. Now, this one doesn't really have a difficulty setting because, who knows. Anyway, and this is a very unique drawing chaos challenge only, because the challenge is you're going to run through a maze that I created myself. Now, some of you have seen the video before where I made a maze out of a giant tall building that I made, basically showing you how to build mega bases in my style, how I go through the process and all that kind of stuff. Well, I turned that giant building into a maze, long story short, and I made it so that you can actually run through the maze. A couple caveats: you do have to hook up the power beforehand, and you basically have to grab some blade runners, which are in a bin, before you get shot up all the way to the top of the maze. So I tested the maze myself. It is completely able to go all the way through from top to bottom, so there shouldn't be any issues with there. And of course, there's going to be some people that are like, there's a cheap way of getting through it. I mean, if you do it the legit way, it's a lot of fun. If you cheapen it out, you're going to just cheap out your experience, but that's also up to you. It's going to be a free downloadable map in my Discord. Yes, my Discord, yet again, where I have free downloads, and I will pin it so that anybody can get to it, and you can test out the maze yourself. If you want to make a video, just link a copy of the video into my Discord. Let me know so I can take a look at, you running the maze and whatnot, and that'll be pretty cool. But other than that, I just want you guys to enjoy it and say thank you all for all the wonderful subscribers, all the wonderful comments, all the wonderful likes and stuff you guys been getting. It really helps me to make more and more of these videos, to really push myself, especially still running a full-time job and everything like that. So to be able to get all these lovely people that are supporting me during this time is amazing. I just want to be able to give back to you guys and, thank you guys for all this kind of stuff that you've been doing. And, also ask you guys, what with all this top 10 and stuff like that, what kind of videos would you guys like to see? Do you want me to do some more Fan Fridays and stuff like that? I'm interested in hearing from you guys because I enjoy the community interaction. The fact that, there's people in the Discord that have been helping out other people and everything like that. So it is great to see you guys being a community, and I really appreciate that. And I feel like this is one of the best things I can do to show you how much I appreciate that. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you for watching the video all the way this far. Consider watching another video if you like. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's the way that I keep increasing and able to do all this wonderful stuff that you see here. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it. You have a wonderful day. Have a good one, and bye.